Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the final episode of HTF Bets, your live Thursday show here at Hitting the Field Network. Happy holidays, everyone. I had to pull out the Santa shirt here. We got Santa cooking up some glizzies, got a nice drink going, so had to show out for early December here. As always, I'm your host, Tyler Caron. Joining me to my right, Johan Blanco, and my man, Sheppard, here to my left. We're going to dive in with some NFL football. Now, this is my game of the week, and shocker, it's the Patriots. However, this isn't, I'm not choosing this because I'm a Patriots fan. I'm choosing this because this has the makings to be the game of the year in the NFL, possibly the most important game of the season. We have Monday Night Football. We have the Patriots traveling to Buffalo to take on the Bills. Bills are a 2.5-point favorite, over-under set at 43.5. This could very well decide, and the Patriots are half a game up in the AFC East. Whoever wins this game, either the Buffalo can jump them or Patriots gain another game on Buffalo. So this is huge for AFC East standings.
It is huge. They match up a few weeks later, and I think that game is going to be more important. I think they're still going to be neck and neck in week 16, I believe, is when they match up again. This is going to be a very low-scoring game. I don't think they're clearing that 43-point spread. These defenses are 1-2 in the league, especially when it comes to interceptions. Secondary is going to play a huge factor, especially with Buffalo losing Tre'Davious White for the season. I think Dane Jackson is either going to be an X factor or could be the reason they end up losing this game. Mac Jones has been proving a lot of the doubters wrong. I know a lot of Pats fans weren't very high on him, including this man right here.
I wasn't crazy about him.
Including this man right here.
I
wasn't either.
And he seems to be the clear front runner for Rookie of the Year. So
he's definitely up there. Johan, I'll let you touch on the Patriots and the Bills a little bit.
I want to let you know that this is not the game of the season. Like, I just want to let you know that right now before I even get.
But why? but name a matchup that we've had so far. Obviously, we're
the Bucks and the Rams.
Cardinals and Packers.
Yes, Cardinals and Packers. You want to say AFC?
Again, so
any AFC North game would be
Chiefs and
better.
Ravens in the beginning of the season was really big.
It was, and so again, yes, those are big games, but
Those are all bigger games.
These are for standings coming down in crunch time of the season for the division and who gets the division spot and who has to play in the wild card
the only
game.
reason why I'm saying it's not one of the biggest games is because the Bills have been so inconsistent throughout the past 3 games, and they've lost to teams like the Jaguars. Did they lose to the Jets?
They beat the Jets.
They beat the Jets, but they lost to the Jaguars. Who cares?
Who cares?
They lost to the Jaguars. And Josh Allen, we were talking about Josh Allen as being the front runner for the MVP candidate. We're not even talking about him no more because of how inconsistent he's been. But listen, for the first time, I'm very impressed with the Patriots. I am a fan of the Patriots right now because they have a team without any superstars on the offensive side, and Bill Belichick has done a great job coaching, which, greatest coach of all time. I mean, he's done a great job, and I think Mac Jones is the Rookie of the Year. I mean, he's been playing so well, and me and Tyler were talking earlier, and I was like, hey, who's the MVP candidate? I was like, Matthew Stafford, Tom Brady. He's like, oh, no, I love Mac Jones. Mac Jones is my favorite person ever. I love Mac
Johan
Jones.
likes to play. No, Mac Jones he understood the assignment for this year, like 100%. And I'm starting to think that, Brady has been known in the past as a game manager. It's been said about him forever. We're kind of seeing the whole Patriots. They're just managing games. They're not doing anything that wows anyone on offense. Their defense has been one of the best in the league. They've only given up 26 points in their last 4 games. Interception-wise, they're in the top of the league. And Josh Allen has thrown 7 interceptions in his last 4 games. He did bounce back a little bit last week, throwing for 4 touchdowns versus the Saints. I think this is obviously a defensive matchup, but Josh Allen is not the MVP candidate. He was at the beginning of the season, but I think this last 4-game stretch here in the NFL season, he's going to start to find his groove again, for sure. So I want to go into NBA. Now, this was Riley. This is your game of the week right here. I'll let you take it away.
This is absolutely the game of the week, not only in the NBA, but in all sports. These are the pound-for-pound top 2 teams in the NBA matching up tomorrow night at the Chase Center in the Bay Area. It's the Warriors and the Suns. And they're the top 2 teams in the NBA, and it's not even close. Phoenix's 17-game winning streak, which should go to 18 tonight. They play Detroit. They have been so underrated. Nobody's talking about the Suns enough. And the Suns even edged out the Warriors on Tuesday night. And by losing Devin Booker, I think the Warriors are going to take this one, especially at home. They're going to snap Phoenix's, which would be 18 games winning streak. But these two teams are going to match up in the Western Conference Finals. People were sleeping on the Suns going into the season. They said last season was a fluke, but Chris Paul has done it again. He just makes every team he plays for better. Devin Booker has become way more efficient from the field, and DeAndre Ayton has become a very, very good center.
So here's I want to comment on the Suns and how underrated they are, because it's crazy. We saw how well they performed last year and in the playoffs, and it was still like, okay, they're the Suns. Now they are on a 17-game winning streak, and it's still just the Suns. It's crazy. I don't know what they need to do to get their respect. However, they are a top 3 team in the league, and Chris Paul he's still going. He just is not going to stop. Devin Booker is questionable for the game tomorrow night. We saw him go out early on Tuesday night versus the Warriors. He only played 15 minutes. He's battling an older hamstring injury from what we've been told. And so that's why I think going into tomorrow, there's no set spread. The other night, Suns were favored by 2.5 at home, so I'm going to flip it. I'm going to go with the Warriors 2.5 at home. Steph shot 4 for 21 from the field on Tuesday night. 19%, 3 for 14, which is 21% from 3. That is the worst that he shot all season, and they still made it. It was still a single-digit deficit. So Steph Curry's going to bounce back at home. And it's not even going to be close.
Is Steph Curry all of our MVPs right now?
Yes.
Can we please agree on that? Is he the best?
Well, his is Daniel Tice, but we're not going to talk about that.
I'm still big on Daniel Tice. Don't you forget it. Now that's one fight that, again, me and Johan will never stop fighting about Daniel Tice. He thinks I hold him very highly on my list of players. However, I think he's a solid player, but he's past his prime. We're going to go on to a different fight. Devin the Dream Haney versus JoJo Diaz Jr. in the WBC lightweight title fight. Haney comes in at a -600 favorite, Diaz at a +400. Again, you guys know how this goes. If you've ever watched segment 1 of bets, Johan, fight guy, take it away.
Well, guys, this is one of the most important fights in the lightweight division. I mean, Devin Haney is one of the younger crop, one of the top guys in the lightweight division. Him, Ryan Garcia, Gervonta Davis, all these guys are the next generation for boxing, and they're going to be the next draws. And for JoJo Diaz is an emerging, fighter in that lightweight division. He just moved up from super featherweight. He was the former IBF super featherweight champion. He beat the likes of Tevin Farmer. He had a close loss to Gary Russell Jr., but he's the toughest test of Devin Haney's career. Listen, Devin Haney is a very calculated fighter. He's able to use his jab really well. He has I think a 7-inch reach advantage on JoJo Diaz. He's just really polished, and he takes a very cautious approach. So he likes to make no mistakes, similar to Floyd Mayweather Jr., which he looks up to very much. But for JoJo Diaz is a pressure fighter. In order for him to neutralize Devin Haney, he needs to get on the inside. He needs to pressure him, and he needs to fight on the inside and make sure that he gets uncomfortable. Because if not, it's going to be a long night for JoJo Diaz.
Yeah, I think so. I also have Haney coming out of this one. I think Diaz is a bit that spread of a -600 favorite towards Haney and a +400 for Diaz. I think with Diaz and how he fought Javier Fortuna in the unanimous decision in the last fight, I think that he needs more respect. That spread should be closer. I still am taking Haney, and I think the bet to bet in this fight is for Haney to win inside the distance. It's at +250. He's going to come out strong. He needs to make a statement if he wants to claim that title fight versus the unified champion, George Kambosos. So I think that he's going to come out strong, and it's going to go to either a knockout or a decision. It's not going to go all the way to a decision.
I just want to say I love you for mentioning that Javier Fortuna fight, but I have JoJo Diaz in this one just because it's the toughest fight of his career.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I'm pretty good on my picks. I think I have the highest correct pick percentage on the show, but Johan is the fight guy. So that's our advice to you. That's all the time we have for segment 1. Stick with us for segment 2. We'll be talking about fantasy basketball and fantasy football.
Welcome to the HTF Hot Wings Challenge. One of you guys actually do hot sauce regularly?
No. It's like the least black thing I do.
Oh, wow, okay.
I say Johnny goes first on this one.
I agree.
Now, the Buccaneers are going to play the Washington football team.
That can't happen.
It will happen.
I'm terrified.
No, I really hate it.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes. No. You're wrong.
If it wasn't for Kanye jumping up on stage and doing the "I'm gonna let you finish," but no one would know Taylor Swift.
Nitro's dump truck. And if you don't know what I'm talking about,
Why is Nitro thick?
I don't know how many squats I need to do to get up like something like that, but I will do it.
Oh! Oh my God!
Baseball, obvious reasons. Babe Ruth. If you want to go currently. I feel like that's just like a thing.
he jumped off the wall to catch the home run. We made it through all the way to the end. Thank you for joining us.
I'm never doing this again.
Welcome back, everyone. Things are heating up in fantasy football leagues across the country. We have 2 weeks remaining in the regular season. Everyone is fighting for those playoff spots. Here at the Hitting the Field Network host league, we had another great week. We have about 6 people fighting for the last 2 spots, and it's really exciting. So we're going to throw up the scores from last week. To start, we had our producer of HTF Bets, Austin Walker, defeating Johnny Jackson, the producer of all of HTFN. Caleb Burge got the win against Johan, my guy.
Congrats, Caleb.
What's going on?
Congrats.
Ross picked up the win over Hannah Joe. Alex Funderburk picked up the win over myself. I shouldn't have started Aaron Jones. I had him out of my lineup until about 5 minutes before the game. And then Riley fell to Kyle DeWitt. Fantasy football, last two regular season games. This is make or break time, really.
I know. This is really bad. I have Derrick Henry out. I don't know what I'm going to do. Like, I'm so thin at running back.
Yeah. Well, hey, I tell you what. Our man Riley if you have Derrick Henry and who is out now and you need to pick someone up, Riley Sheppard, he has his top 5 ads for NFL and NBA this week. So, Riley, who does Johan need to pick up at running back?
I'm going to start with that, actually. Both of my running backs are 2 and 4 in my list. So we'll start with Boston Scott. He's another guy who's benefited from injuries to running backs. With Jordan Howard.
All right, I'm gonna throw it back here. We're having some technical difficulties. However, Riley's top 5 ads were these. He had Alperen Sengun from the NBA. He was talking about Boston Scott, another NBA player, Alec Burks, and then, of course, running back Alexander Madison was his 4th pickup. And then Jeremiah Robinson-Earl was kind of a surprising one for me, but he has been playing well in the NBA, the rookie out of Villanova. So what do you think about Riley's ads for this week?
Jeremiah Robinson-Earl, isn't he like owned in 2% of the league?
I think it was 3%. There was hardly even a percentage. However, he is averaging 17 fantasy points per game. Nothing to write home about. However, it's, if you are in a desperate situation, if you're in a tight match coming down to the last night of the week, then he might be a guy that you can pick up, plug into your lineup just to give you some kind of points. However, your guy Alperen Sengun.
Yeah.
Riley, I think you're back with us now. Tell me about Alperen Sengun.
I am back, and I wasn't here when Johan was talking about him the other week, but look, I love Sengun.
Yes.
He is a star in this league.
Yes.
And the biggest thing is that the Rockets, Christian Wood is not going to be on the Rockets roster come the February trade deadline. So after that is really when you should expect Sengun's points per game to go up a lot. He's still not getting the most playing time, but when he is out there, he just makes it look so easy, especially on the defensive end where a lot of people...
Riley, can I ask you a question?
Go ahead.
Is he better than Daniel Tice?
Yes.
That's all I have to say,
100%.
Tyler.
That's fine. I'm fine with that. I'm fine with the opinions.
100%.
However, Sengun is averaging 20 fantasy points per game, which, as Johan and I just said about Jeremiah Robinson-Earl, not a bad number if you absolutely need Buddy. However, for him to be your top 5 ads, there are 164 NBA players right now averaging 20 fantasy points per game.
Yes, but there are not more than, I would say, 20 players that have the potential that Sengun has. Sengun's potential is through the roof.
Absolutely.
And like I said, by February is really when his points per game, I expect to be over 30 when Christian Wood is out of the rotation. But for somebody
I don't. To say that it's going to 30. I don't think so. He's a rookie with a lot of promise. However, John, I do have someone who he's not quite at that 20-point per game marker, and that is your star second selection in the last NBA draft, Jalen Green, who is not averaging 20 points per game. Just a little plug there. Another. I'm gonna go to NFL now.
I want to talk about something because I need running backs.
Okay,
And
let's talk about running backs.
He put Boston Scott in there.
He did.
He's trash.
Yeah,
he's
I can
garbage. I'm not saying that because I'm a Giants fan. Kind of because I'm a Giants fan. He's trash. No, but the only reason why I'm saying that is because he's only had one game over 80 yards one time.
No, you're absolutely right. But for somebody who's desperate for running backs like you are right now, this week is when you need somebody like Boston Scott, who's facing the worst run defense in the NFL against the Jets.
Very, very true, Riley. However, again, we are in crunch time. This is where you need to be strategic about your ad drops. Boston Scott is sick right now. He hasn't been in practice. He is expected to play, and he is going against the Jets. So if he plays, could be a promising pickup. However, they have a bye week next week. This is where you can't afford to be picking up players that haven't had their bye week and throwing them, giving advice of these are the guys you need to pick up. You need to go to, like, Alexander Mattison, I think we all can agree with Dalvin Cook out, is the best person on this list.
Yes.
I also think you're missing Jamal Williams. I don't know where he was. He's another running back that's going to have a huge game this week with DeAndre Swift out. He scored 13 points in the game last week after Swift left. Swift finished with 4. Why was Jamal Williams not on your list?
No, and I agree with that. It was tough for me to pick Jamal Williams, to not pick Jamal Williams, being a Detroit Lion, but he really didn't play all that well against who they played on Thanksgiving, the Bears. He didn't play all that great, and that's why Boston Scott edged him out a little bit. The defense who they're playing this week, worst run defense in the league. And like I said, for somebody who is like Johan, who's dealt with injuries at running back, he's just a much better option for somebody who probably won't make the playoffs. As sad as that is, we would love 3 bets guys to be in the playoffs. But let me touch on Alexander Mattison. His
I also need to add about Alexander Mattison.
Here we go.
Oh my
Here we
goodness.
go.
Look at this.
Of HTF
Look
Bets,
at
Austin Walker.
Let's get in here.
Oh
Let's
my
Make
gosh.
room for this.
What's up, boss?
This is personal to me because I had Dalvin Cook and Alex went in there and stole it from me. This is bad. I lost McCaffrey and I lost Cook.
That's a tough season.
Yeah, it's not going great. My record now, I believe it's 3-9. So
3-9. But hey, he can produce an
It's
HTF Bet show like no one else.
yeah,
It's
I can do
actually
that.
2-9. I'm sorry.
So my question is, why is Madison towards the bottom of your ads? Why is that not the first one?
To be fair, it's not really in order. It's just my guys. There's really no order to it. But if there was, Madison would 100% be at the top of the list. I just had to make it look right since there were 3 basketball, 2 football. But if you haven't had the opportunity to pick up Madison, he is owned in 81% of leagues. But if he's still available, definitely worth the pickup with Dalvin Cook out, most likely for the season with that shoulder injury.
Yeah, Johan, if Madison is still out there, I think you should get him.
Oh, yeah,
However,
100%.
I don't think the answer to replacing an injured running back is one that's going to be sick this week and then on a bye week next week for the end of the regular season. So
If I picked
Madison
up
is
Boston
there,
Scott,
grab him.
I would go down in points. I'm
You
sorry.
would go
Do
down
you think
in
he's going
points.
to get any
Is he-
receiving yards? Or is it going to be mostly rushing yards?
I think, the Philly has been ground and pound all season. They have found their identity to run the ball. Jalen Hurts included in that. So I don't see many PPR points coming from Boston Scott. It's going to be a ground and pound.
He did have the Eagles' only touchdown last week in their 13-7 loss. So he has proven that he can put the ball in the end zone.
Right. We'll see what we get from your top 5 ads. Really quickly, we're going to go into fantasy basketball. We're just starting to get to that quarter point in the season. We're going to throw up the scores from last week. Austin defeated Johnny in fantasy basketball.
Yes, sir.
Kyle DeWitt defeated HTF Bets Zone Riley Sheppard. I defeated Caleb Burge. Luca came away with the victory over Hannah Joe. Alex Funderburk defeated Ross. And then Cliff stole the win from Johan. Those are your Week 5 fantasy basketball scores. That's all the time that we have for fantasy. Stick with us. We'll be right back for segment 3 for our final surefire pick of the week.
versus Giants. Why? Because I am a New York Giants fan and I want my first pick of the week to be my team. I see an upset for the New York Giants this Sunday. Bet your entire savings, and I'm telling you right now, they're gonna win. I don't care what you say. It's gonna happen.
I'm going to go Yankees 4-1. I think Garrett Cole's going to give them 7 shutout. It's Garrett Cole. I trust him in this type of situation.
2-1 pitch.
The Yankees lost to Boston in the wild card game, and I told Johnny if my boys lose, I'd come on the show in this.
I have to go with the Raiders, I think, for this one. I don't see them losing.
Welcome back. It is now time for our primetime picks of the week, the best segment. I'm currently doing awful, standing at 16-10, Oklahoma State and Texas. I'm going Texas 35-27.
UCF keeps the 30 points per game streak alive. I'm going to go 35-10. UCF wins.
Welcome back, everyone. This is our final segment of the semester of HTF Bets. We're gonna end it with the new edition that we started this semester with our Surefire Picks. Just to recap, myself, 9-2 on the year in Surefire Picks. I hope that all of you have been paying attention and placing the bets that I am advising to you. Riley, it's a really rough start at first. However, he finished over 500. He did get some picks with some very favorable spreads, but it was surefire. He finished 6-5. Johan came in late in the season. However, his record stayed pretty good. 4-2-1 draw because someone ate a little too much the day before weigh-in for his surefire pick of the week fight. And we'll also have Austin Walker who's going to stick with us for this segment, and he will also give his surefire bet of the week. I'm going to start. We're sticking with NFL right here tonight. I'm taking the Cowboys -5.5 over the Saints. This spread is already up to 6.5. I would still take that. I got it at 5.5. Amari Cooper is going to be back. He's going to have a huge bounce back week after missing last 2 weeks. So Cowboys over the Saints by a touchdown, no doubt. Bet your life savings on it, as this guy would say.
Go, Johan.
What are you
Go,
betting your
life savings guy.
All right, I have obviously. Tyler, what am I doing? I'm doing a fight, obviously.
I'll bet my life savings, it's a fight.
Premier Championship Boxing, Gervonta Davis versus Isaac Cruz this Sunday. Gervonta Davis is undefeated. He is Floyd Mayweather's protege, and he's the next superstar in boxing. He's going to get a knockout.
Oral Roberts at TCU tomorrow night, college basketball. The spread is at -9 in favor of TCU at home. I think Oral Roberts not only clears that spread, I think they upset them. At home, they have a guy in Max Abmas who has NBA range. He just dropped 38 at Tulsa in a rivalry game, 7 threes. This guy has NBA range out of the gym. Oral Roberts will clear the spread tomorrow night.
Yeah, I agree. Well, again, doesn't happen a ton, especially on Surefire Picks, but I agree. Max Abmas he's been insane this year. He was on some list, first team All-American, coming out of Oral Roberts, who, they made a name for themselves last year in the tournament when they defeated Ohio State, I believe, in the first round in the March Madness
Sweet
tournament.
16 as well.
Yeah, so they made a little bit of a run there, kind of put Oral Roberts on the map and Max Abmas on the map. And so he's living up to that first team All-American hype this season. Austin, we're going to shoot over to you. Give us your one and only surefire bet of the week for this season.
Bets gets renewed for another season. No, I'm kidding. My pick is a little different from yours. I'm going to do that UCF plays UF in the bowl on the 23rd. That's my surefire pick.
So I think we would all love to see it. And sorry to tell you, we just got word from the head man up top, Johnny Jackson. Bets is going to be canceled next season. You didn't perform well enough this year, so we're cutting it. But
it was a great show.
But yeah, UF UCF would be a super entertaining bowl game. However, I don't think it happens. I don't see the benefit. UF does not gain anything by playing UCF this early because they can decline their bowl invitation. You know, the benefit for them is they make a little bit of money because they get paid to play in the bowl. However, if UF beats UCF, they're supposed to. If they lose to UCF, it's the cherry on top of a terrible season for UF. So that's where I don't see it likely happening.
I totally agree.
For Taylor Anderson's sake, let's hope the game happens.
Oh, I would love to see it. For Taylor
no,
Anderson's
and
sake.
I think we can all agree we would love to go see a UF-UCF game a couple years earlier than expected. And a lot of the predictions have been that it would be played in Tampa too, which isn't a far drive for any of us. And I think we would all make that drive to see a UF-UCF game.
Yeah, absolutely. It would be a treat for UCF fans to get to see us to play UF a little bit early. We're creeping down to our final couple of minutes of the season here at Hitting the Field Bets. It's been such a great season with you guys. For myself, Johan, and Riley, this is our first time as hosts for Hitting the Field Network, and we all came together at Bets. So we're going to do some closing remarks. Riley, Johan, either of you guys want to go first?
You can take it first. Seniority.
Johan's kicking us off. You're the new guy this season, so you go first.
Well, first and foremost, I would like to thank Johnny Jackson and Austin Walker for, giving me this opportunity. At first, I wasn't even the host, but, Austin already told me, that he was kind of, just making sure I was like a backup for next semester in case, someone fell through or something like that. But, Bets has done more for me than I could ever do for them. They gave me, something to look forward to during this whole semester. I mean, with Capstone and everything, I mean, this was literally the only thing that really, kept me, going throughout every week. Whether it was, helping with the other shows or whether it's doing this show. This show really, just it made my week every week.
Absolutely. Riley?
And just to add on top of that, I joined Hitting the Field about 8 or 9 months ago, and at first, we were still dealing with COVID, but I would reach out to Johnny and just say, hey, like I would love to be involved, and to be given the opportunity with my first real semester with this program to talk with these guys every Thursday about my favorite thing in the world, and that's sports, and to be able to talk with them, and we get under each other's skin a lot, talking about things, but it's all love at the end of the day. Like I look forward to talking about sports with them every Thursday for an hour, whatever it is, and I just can't thank Hitting the Field enough for giving me this opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm on the same with you guys. I joined Hitting the Field Network about a year ago. Wasn't heavily involved at first. I think I was on 2 shows as a guest analyst fall of 2020. Last spring is really when I started to commit myself to it. Once March rolled around, I was the head college basketball guest analyst for Alex Funderburk on the main show. And that really got me interested in what how I could contribute to Hitting the Field Network. And then when Johnny and Austin reached out to me about being the Bets host and finding my 2 co-hosts, I jumped at it, and we gave everything we could to the content this year. Thank you, Johnny, Austin, and everyone in the Hitting the Field family. We really are a family, and I could never have imagined how much Hitting the Field could give to me this semester, and I'm so excited for next semester. So going over to the head man, the face of Hitting the Field, or Hitting the Field, HTF Bets, Austin Walker.
All right, this is my first time producing. I took it over from Robert Husby last season. Bets was a completely on Zoom show. I had the idea to bring it to a studio because I had great ideas that I knew Johnny with his graphic talent could do. The fantasy segment, I just thought it and Johnny made it happen. All these ideas, Bets was the platform to try them, and we put out great content every week. This is very official. This is probably one of the most good-looking shows we have. I'm just so grateful for how this show, we had no idea how it was going to start, but I'm so glad of how it finished. Again, I want to just thank Johan, Tyler, Riley. You guys are perfect for HTF Bets. You guys have the chemistry. You guys know bets. And like Johan says, bet your life savings on it. We're going to see you next season. Thank you, everyone. It's been real.
Shit, man.
Things gon' change when I really hit the field. Undefeated chance, man, you know what's the deal. Tryna find a kid, I'm in the field doing drills. Boy, you just a sucker, you ain't never keep it real. 3 rings in my hand, I'm a warrior to the max. When I hang it up, they gon' have to give me plaques. Step up in the building and I only bring the facts. When I make a highlight, they gon' replay, run it back. Okay, always locked in, now I don't got time to lax. Saying he the best, he could take a lap. Batted 1,000 when you check the stats.